Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. This month we're off to Portugal, and we could hardly talk about Portuguese food without talking about piri-piri. I think it's one of the two Portuguese dishes that everyone knows, Portuguese custard tarts being the other one, of course. But today it's all about piri-piri. Sometimes written peri-peri or pili-pili, sometimes one word, sometimes two words. Pili-pili means chili in Swahili. And although this is a Portuguese dish or a Portuguese condiment, it's actually something that the Portuguese developed in Mozambique. And then it spread from there to the neighbouring countries, including South Africa, and eventually back to Portugal when the Portuguese descendants were repatriated when Mozambique gained independence. And so, what is piri-piri? It's a sauce, it's a marinade, it's a spicy standby to pep up anything, and it's super simple. You can buy good commercial ones, but we're going to make our own, of course. Most basically, garlic, ginger, chili, salt, oil, I like olive oil, you could use vegetable oil, and a little lemon juice. Now, whiskey often appears in some, all sorts of herbs and spices. My recipe's inspired by José's. These are the essential elements, and then you can doctor it up with whatever you want. So we start off with a little garlic, a little ginger, which we're just going to chop up. Now, the food processor is going to do the work for us, but we want to make it as easy as we can because we want to get this quite fine. So chopping it up finely to start with means the food processor has to do less work, and we're going to get a finer result. So in with our ginger, and this is spicy. So we're not going to take the seeds out of our chilies, we're just going to cut off the stem end and again give them a good chop because we want to make sure that they're ground up quite finely. So I like to cut them into quarters and then just chop, chop, chop. Ooh, careful, they will hit you in the back of the throat. But that's what this is all about. Here's some I chopped up earlier so I wasn't coughing on camera. I'm going to start coughing in a minute anyway, I think. Okay, so garlic, ginger, chili, a good dose of salt, and we're going to give that a bit of a blitz. Because you do want this as fine as possible, you're going to need to scrape it down several times. Don't rush it. Just, oh, those chilies. I think that's fine enough. So now I'm going to add about 1/3 of my oil to the saucepan and scrape in, trying not to cough too much, our chilies and garlic and ginger and salt. We're just going to pop this on the stove and cook it for about 15 minutes on a low heat until it starts to smell toasty. Basically until we can smell that garlic cooking. So we have our chili, garlic and ginger and some of our oil in here. We're just going to bring that to a simmer and then let it toast away. While that's happening, I'm sterilizing my jar to put my sauce in. So that's just a large saucepan of water with a clean jar and lid simmering away. I'll drain that and dry that shortly. So after about 5 minutes or so, we're starting to bubble away nicely there, and that's fine. We just want it on the lowest heat possible and just keep smelling it, stirring it regularly, and trying not to let it catch you too much in the back of the throat. So after about 15 minutes, you can't see a lot of difference, but you can smell it. The garlic, the ginger, the chilies, they have started to break down, but for me the telltale sign is it smells like a beautiful loaf of garlic bread that you've just taken out of the oven. So in with our lemon juice, that's just going to add a bit of acid and freshen it up, and off the heat. So here's my jar that I've sterilized and dried. In with the rest of my olive oil. Let's not waste any of that. And in with our piri-piri oil and sediment. We'll let that cool down a little bit and then we'll just pop it in the fridge. Now, this certainly keeps in the fridge for a month, even longer, but let's say a month to be on the safe side. And you just want to give it a good stir before you use it, because the idea is you want some of that sediment and some of that oil in every dish. So I'm going to let this cool down, and then let's talk about making piri-piri chicken.